we all know by now, Tommy Fury was victorious over Jake Paul in a rather dominant fashion, although it was classed as a split decision win. We recently checked out different pro fighters' reactions to the result, but there was one person in particular we didn't look at, which is Jake Paul's best friend, Dana White. Everyone knows they're the best of friends, and we'll be checking out all the recent news around Jake Paul, so make sure to stick around to the end for the full details. It appears Jake Paul isn't taking the loss all that bad, because yesterday he posted a video, as you can see, stating that he made over $30 million from the fight, which is absurd, considering it's only his 7th fight, and to make that much is ridiculous. Most professional boxers will never reach that amount from their entire career, even as world champions. Since the loss, there's been a lot of talk as to what Jake should do next, whether it's an immediate rematch against Tommy, or go back to influencers and fight KSI, which is arguably one of the biggest fights of the year in terms of PPV numbers, and could easily sell out any arena across the world. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notification bell, as we'll be doing constant updates on this case, as well as other celebrity-based videos. This way, you'll never miss out on any future uploads. It's clear Tyson Fury wants Tommy to have an immediate rematch against Jake and then go on to fight Logan. Tommy will now be the headliner forever. I want to see him rematch Jake Paul and then take on Logan, Jake Paul's brother. Tommy did a fantastic job. The world media, the world's biggest stars, came to see it. It was fantastic. Fair play to Jake Paul. I honestly thought Tommy would easily knock him down, but Jake was stronger than I anticipated. I'm overjoyed. You won't always get knocked out. I've had 22 knockouts and I'm 33-0. You won't win every time, but it will teach you something. Jake Paul was a very deserving opponent, and Tommy had to overcome challenges like getting knocked down in round 8 and getting back up to continue fighting. Tommy himself has said he is more than ready for an immediate rematch and is highly confident he will stop him next time. This is my first main event. I will only get stronger. I only intend to get better and bigger. I overcame my nerves, which were high before the event. Bring it if he wants another fight. At the end of the fight, Jake said the better man won and that he had no excuses, but proceeded to state he injured his arm and was ill multiple times throughout training camp, which is a load of waffle. If they do decide on a rematch, I think it would be very tough for Jake to pull off the win, only due to the fact Tommy has almost 2 decades of experience in the ring, whereas Jake only has 4 or 5 years. Now, back to the main topic of the video, Dana White. Over the past few days, he was interviewed and asked about his thoughts on Jake Paul and discussed the very first time he met the guy.
He rolls up to me the first time. I didn't even know who he was. I didn't know who he was or anything, and he's a total fucking wise ass, right? And you know, so I'm trying to talk to the guy, and he's you know, he's being a total fucking wise ass. And I'm like, listen, man, I'm fucking trying to get my seat situated here. He's like, okay, you go on and keep being famous or some shit like that. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? My son told me who he was, right? That was the first time I ever met him. So that was our first ever interaction, which, you know, wasn't a good one.
What's so interesting is that whoever Jake Paul beefs with, Logan becomes business partners. First it was KSI and now Dana White. As you would all know, Prime Hydration signed a 3-year deal with the UFC, which is insane when you think about it. In under a year, they have managed to partner with Arsenal, one of the biggest football clubs in the world, and arguably the biggest fights organization being the UFC.
If Espinoza,
the Weasel,
the guy, the Weasel, if the Weasel would let him go after investing the money that he did in his earlier fights, that tells you something.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way that guy would let him go if he was able to make money with him.
How many PPV buys do you think Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury does? The most Jake has done was 500,000 for the first Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley fight. I can easily see the numbers being around 700,000 to 1 million buys. The hype around the fight was massive compared to any other bouts he's done thus far. A big topic of the fight was the contract Jake brought up, which never officially got signed. And yesterday, Derek Chisora came out and said, I was driving and I thought about something. When we were on the stage in Saudi for this fight, Tommy and Jake shook on a bet, and I got the contract, so I think Tommy should get money off Jake Paul, or else I'm gonna leak the contract out. I got it. Bet is a bet. They shook hands on it. You don't need a contract, you don't need anything. Man to man, you shake hands, you pay the man you shook hands with. Jake Paul should wire money to Tommy. That's fair. There's no denying Tommy deserves his winnings, but he never signed the official contract. Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to Loaf for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.